A former president's daughter, who is now an independent filmmaker, is being accused of stealing from another independent filmmaker. It's your friendly neighborhood independent author and aspiring filmmaker himself, chiming in on this situation here. Let's get right into it. All right. So, as I've stated, Barack Obama's daughter, Malia Obama, anyone remember her? Well, she is being accused by this independent filmmaker, Natalie Jasmine Harris, of pretty much stealing the idea, the concept, even the way how things are filmed when it comes to their two different works. So, this is an indie short film by Natalie Jasmine Harris. I believe this is great. Pure. It's one of the films that's streaming recently on Matt's. Um, it could be Grace or Pure. Excuse. I apologize. No disrespect to Natalie Jasmine Harris at all. But this commercial here, and I'm going to play this clip so you all can see for yourself. Natalie created this great, top down, side by side comparison between their film once again and Malia Obama's Nike ad. Now, I actually saw this ad before I haven't watched the film, so I can't give my thoughts on it, but before I knew about it. And it's Grace, not, it says it right here in the tweet. Duh, Ernest, but it says right here. So it's the film Grace, not Pure, but Grace. Um, but I saw the ad long before I knew about this situation here. That does not mean that because I saw it first, that actually it's Natalie who stole from Malia, right? It just so happened that I was watching the Nike ad during the NBA playoffs when my Celtics were in the playoffs. And yeah, you're going to get a Nike ad during a sporting event. That's just what's going to happen. So, nonetheless, I will actually full screen it. Can I full screen? Okay, full screen, and then I'll press play, and you can, look at again, this is the film, and this is the ad. And then, of course, I'll share my thoughts. Um, let's hit play. Annotation is in the way. All right. So the volume is not up just for those who are wondering why it's so silent. Um, I think Anne made it so that there is no audio in this video, but there is the volume is up. Nonetheless, let's let it play. As you can see, Patty Cake is being played by the two girls there's the little girl and the NBA player who is Aja Wilson, a WNBA player. That's in the Nike ad. And then you have the two actresses here who are in the film, the indie film. And again, Patty Cake, you see the hands, you see the zooming in on the smiling faces, you see the laughter, you see the joy that they're all experiencing. You see the camera cut to the wide angle to where you can not just see their hands and their faces at some point, but you can see the total body expression that uh these girls and women are having, during a moment of just joy. Okay. So I will try to remember to leave that. Let's hit escape. I will try to remember to leave that video in the description box below. Hopefully I can post links there now. But I'll try to leave that in the description box below, as well as just, maybe some other links to the backlash actually that in the film that Harris got because, well, she's accusing a former president's daughter A president that was liked by a lot of people, by the way. We're not talking about, and even if it was, let's just say Donald Trump's kid, she was accusing one of Donald Trump's kids of stealing or just, biting off of her creation. Um, she would still get the backlash, but you're accusing an Obama of stealing, when a lot of people have a pristine, outlook on who the Obamas are. Now, we're not going to get into politics. This is not the channel for me to share my political views on anybody. The Trumps, the Obamas, the parties, politics, none of that. I am in the business of talking about situations like independent either authors or filmmakers, as someone who aspires to be one, a filmmaker in general, whether that's the independent route, whatever. Someone who aspires to be in the filmmaking industry as well, you know. I am in the business where I feel as though it's my duty to speak on situations like this where um is this still recording? Yes, it is. Okay, I just had to make sure this was still recording. All right. So, anyways, I do feel compelled to speak on these situations here. Now, personally speaking, do I believe that Harris has a point here when they accuse Malia Obama, who is now going by Malia Ann. She's not. She dropped the Obama for her career. I'll get into all of that soon. But do I believe that Harris has a case? I do think that it's very it's not coincidental, let me put it that way. Now, the reason why I say it's not coincidental, other than the fact that I don't really believe in coincidences, is because um actually the history between Malia and Harris far they have a history together where apparently they were in a festival with one another, and I forget what. All right, so I'm editing the video and I'm at the part where pretty much I'm detailing the background between Malia and Obama, or Malia and the indie director once again, Natalie Jasmine Harris. So I butchered it just a bit. The background, and it's in a Dateline article that I will leave in the description box. Again, if that's not in the description box, peep the comments. The links for everything of what I'm talking about will be there. And yes, I'm sweating. It's 97 degrees outside. I'm in here. I'm sweating. I'm sweating under this light. Full edit mode. I'm all good though. But pretty much the history is, and I'm going to read it straight from the Deadline article. So Harris noted she met Obama, again, Malia, who uses the professional credit Malia Ann, at at the director's brunch at the director's brunch and a couple of other events when their shorts were both in competition. So as I've stated, Malia and Harris definitely have history with one another. It could be something as brief as they've met at different brunches, different competitions, but this is where Harris has the case, this is why Harris is building the case as, or one of the reasons as to why she's saying Malia Obama pretty much stole my idea, because as I've stated in the video, she saw Grace before we, the public, were able to see Grace, right? And with that being said, the shots that were taken at Grace, or the shots that were taken in the movie Grace, Malia may have gained inspiration for her Nike ad with Aja Wilson. So yeah, I just wanted to name that correction there. back on to the rest of the video. It's between, I do see the case. Let me just say that Natalie Jasmine Harris is building as far as an accusation of, hey, you actually stole my work. And it's problematic, obviously, because nobody, no creative wants to have their work stolen. But it stings a lot more when you have someone who is of a bigger name in this indie space or just in the same spaces as you, who clearly has more fame, more money, um, and can probably hire actual creatives, but instead they go around. This has happened in the past. So it's not like what Harris is accusing of Malia of doing. When I say it's happened in the past, I'm not saying Malia and Obama has done it in the past. I'm saying what has happened in the past is if you had famous people go into these spaces where there are people who aren't famous, right? Independents and things of that nature. And they've went and they stole their creative work from these individuals or straight up just copied it. If they didn't steal the work in general, they straight up just copied it and knew they can get away with it. One, because they're famous. Two, there are going to be people like in this situation that instantly come to the defense of the famous person. And three, they would be able to get the funding or they already have the funding to get said stolen project or copy project funded and actually made. And these are the big reasons as to why I feel very compelled to speak on it because this is the stuff that could happen within the indie space. Again, indie author space, indie filmmaker space as well, where you are up against people who have a following, already have the resources that you do not have. It's already hard enough for the indie creators, and then for them to have their stuff copied by someone who, again, has resources, can actually just hire somebody. And that was Harris's point at the end of pretty much their rant was if I could have been hired on to help out with this commercial rather than someone stealing it from me. And that someone being, again, Malia Ann. And also, she accused of, or Harris accused Aja Wilson of, because, again, and Nike, of course, because this is their commercial. This is their commercial. Culmination of all three came together to make this commercial here. And yeah, she's saying that's not right. It's not right. And I'm with Harris. I'm with Harris, not just as an independent myself, but these are the types of fears that I would hope to avoid throughout my career, both again as an author and a filmmaker, to avoid situations where you have someone, whether it be a president or a president's kid or a celebrity or a celebrity's kid or just someone famous in general, coming and stealing my hard work. You know, the creative vision that I naturally have, they go around and they steal it and they can because, you know, they're famous or whatever, right? And again, people are going to jump to come to their aid, especially if they're a fan of that individual and they don't know who you are. Okay. Now, I am not saying that, like I said, I do believe they are very much similar, right? There's a lot of people in the comment section pretending to, or just simply to be honest with you, are actually that damn dumb, but they're pretending to be dumb and trying to make Jasmine's, I keep wanting to call them Jasmine, that's their middle name, but Natalie's comments as you didn't make up the game of patty cake and patty cake, and That's a game that young girls and women have been playing for ages, you know? And then they brought up the scene of Color Purple, by the way, for those who are familiar with the movie Color Purple, where, you have, uh, I believe Nettie is the name, and I forget it's crossing my mind, but you have Whoopi Goldberg's, the girl who plays Whoopi's character, young Whoopi's character, and then there's the other girl as well. But they're playing patty cake on a porch as well, and people saw what Natalie did with Grace and said, "Hey, how can you accuse Malia Obama of stealing something from you when you stole this very game or this very situation from The Color Purple?" You know, she's talking about the camera angles. She's talking, that's most of the focus where Natalie's comments are coming from. Again, from my understanding, Natalie could better explain. And again, that's why I keep telling y'all to go to the thread yourself and see for yourself, because they can better explain what their argument is. From my understanding, their argument is not the game of I invented the game of patty cake, and that and Malia Obama has two girls in her commercial playing patty cake, and I've invented that game. No, that's not what Natalie is saying. It's all about the camera angles. Again, if I have to share the screen again, just I'll do it one more time. Just for the show of it, okay? So, as you can see with the camera angles, the cameras are on their faces. Their cameras starts with their hands. Let's rewind back. Wide shot, okay, of them before they play the game, okay? Now it's just the hands, all right? Now the Nike ad is moving faster than the movie simply because it's an ad. People, your ad has to be what, 15 seconds, 15, 25 seconds long. Whereas this is probably a movie that is maybe an hour long, 45 minutes, an hour long, maybe, maybe longer. So you don't have to rush this scene as much. So just don't get that twisted. Don't say, well, it can't be a direct copy because the ad is moving fast. I mean, you're comparing a 15-second, let me stop sharing now. You're comparing a 15-second commercial to an hour, at the very least an hour and 20-minute movie. It's not a good comparison as far as time wise, and as your argument as to why one isn't a copy of another. Again, I do believe that Natalie has a point in their accusations. I can't give a definitive answer, not because I really like, it's one of those situations where it could simply be like, although I don't believe in coincidences, it could simply just be a situation to where creative minds are alike, you know? Um, don't be upset when I say this. I love the movie Sinners, but I look at Sinners and there are some similarities, not all, but some similarities between, again, the two brothers in Sinners and the two main male protagonists in my book, Late Nights on Broadway. There's also a character in Sinners who is racially ambiguous, and there's also a racially ambiguous character in my book as well. Again, Late Nights on Broadway. There are just certain similarities. There's and one of the brothers in my book is not the serious one, or seen as the more comical relief, and then the other one is the more serious one. If in Sinners, I'm not giving away the movie, and again, I'm not accusing Ryan Coogler of something. But in Sinners, the Michael B. Jordan played both brothers, but he played the less serious brother, but he also played the more serious twin as one, the one super focused on the finances, super focused on timing, being right, just very much serious, you know? But again, like if this to me, that situation, I don't have enough evidence to prove to say, hey, Ryan Coogler read my book and then stole my idea. I wouldn't accuse him of doing that, but I don't have that evidence by the way of saying that. What I'm saying in that situation is it's just a situation of two creative minds thinking alike. And that could be the situation here with Natalie Harris and Malia Ann. The reason why I believe more so that it wasn't, because once again, Natalie and Malia, before Grace was streaming on HBO Max, um, it was again, it was at a festival, the same festival where Malia Obama was participating in as well. So again, Malia saw Grace before everyone could stream Grace. So it's like there's more of a there's more evidence, or at least more of a case, and put it that way once again, that Harris is making that Malia stole her stuff or, copied her work because she actually saw the work, you know? Whereas with, again, I'm not accusing Ryan Coogler of anything, but if I were to come out and say, yes, Sinners was my idea, and actually there's certain characters and situations that he stole from me, I don't have evidence to say that one of the sales that I got from my book was from Ryan Coogler. I just don't have that evidence. Or he somehow got his hands on the manuscript to the book, read it. It was like, you know what? Let me make a totally different movie. It would be totally different if, again, we were at a festival, right? And it was myself and Ryan Coogler. We were both shopping around, you're going to a festival, trying to get funding, trying to get our, stuff made. And I'm like, I want to make the Late Nights on Broadway movie, which one day I hope to do so, right? And he's like, oh, I'm trying to work around and get, this movie I got called Sinners. And then there was a screening again of Late Nights on Broadway, and he ended up seeing it, right? And then I see Sinners some time later, and I'm like, hold on, this looks eerily similar to my work. Ryan, you saw that movie before everyone else did. I think you stole my work, man. Like it would be totally different. Again, totally hypothetical situation. I am not accusing that, man. I absolutely loved Sinners. Y'all go watch that movie. Please go watch it. I've already seen it twice already. I'm going to see it again on my birthday in August. I just love that film. Go stream it. Go watch it at your theaters if it's still in theaters. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But as far as just this situation here, ugh, I never want to jump to conclusions, but I also never want to be the individual who is going to totally write somebody off because they're not famous. That's never been my thing. Um, and honestly, this is just this just goes to show to anybody again in the indie film space, indie author space as well. Just safeguard your stuff the best way you can. Now there's copyrights, there's all this other stuff, but keeping the safeguard and keeping record, which is what Natalie did well. Kept the record of their work, their originality, and make their claims, right? So doing what Natalie did in the thread, which again can be found in the description, and if for whatever reason I still can't leave links in the description box below, it will definitely be in the comment section. Okay. Now, when I said that the last time, I said it would be the pin comment. I tried to pin it. YouTube still wouldn't allow me to even pin a comment or pin links or pin a comment in general. So it's going to be in the comments, whether it's pinned or not. I will leave it there if it's not in a description box. If it is in a description box, it's there. YouTube is off my back. I'm able to post. So, and that's another reason as to why it's been a while since I've posted, or it seems like it, because they've yeah, not even gonna go into all of it. But yeah, this is just me sharing my thoughts on all this situation here. I once I saw it, and granted, I knew about this for some time. And I wanted to record it, this video for some time. But again, YouTube was kind of restricting me. Nonetheless, once I saw this, I'm like, I have to talk about this and share my thoughts and, of course, get you all's thoughts. What do you think about the situation? Do you think that uh, Natalie Jasmine Harris has a case in saying that Malia has actually stolen her idea? Or do you think it's just a coincidence? If you believe in coincidences, do you think it's a case of, again, just creative minds thinking alike? Because that has happened and that does happen, you know. I'll give you another example of, creative minds just thinking alike. This is a story I have yet to even put out there. Okay. I had a dream like with most of my stories, right? And or all of them really. And I'm like, it's a story of it's called the protege, right? And I'm only saying the name and saying this stuff because there is an actual movie called The Protege starring Samuel L. Jackson, and I forgot the female actress's name. I don't know if they play cops, but in this story that I dreamt of, that again, it's not published. I haven't even started writing it. It's just outlined and everything, right? It's got the same name and it's pretty much the same scenario. The female protagonist looks up to the male protagonist and they do their thing. I'm not going to give away everything else, but once I saw that was a dream I had, I want to say, and I did. Let me just say I had maybe a year or two of me actually finding out about the movie The Protege. Now I've yet to see the movie The Protege. I saw the previews for it and everything, and I was like, this looks eerily to what I dreamt about. Except in my dream, it wasn't Samuel L. Jackson, and the female protagonist wasn't an Asian. It wasn't an Asian woman, you know. But this looks exactly what I in the title. It's exactly what I came up with in my mind as well. Things like that happen. I bring that up just to say things like this happen where creative minds, people from all of, from other sides of the world, people who've never met or probably have met once, whatever the case is, end up having the same thought process. The difference between a lot of these things is who puts out what first. The vision from the one person and the other person. But also, what also happens, unfortunately, is the theft. Again, when you have celebrities who believe that they can just get away with things like stealing ideas, which again has happened within this industry, the film industry and the author industry as well, the publishing industry as well. Where people of bigger names have stolen work or straight up copied work from lesser known creators, writers. And unfortunately, they've gotten away with it at times. Fortunately, they didn't get away with it. Fortunately, people called them out for it. There were times even where their own fans called them out for it and said, hey, this is not right. We are a fan of you and we trust that you could create an original story without stealing somebody else's. But in this situation here, again, it was a lot of people bashing Harris and saying that they overreacted because they're a fan of Malia Obama, the daughter of President Barack Obama. It's not because they saw anything that Malia has done in the past, as far as independent film goes, or some maybe some other commercials she may have filmed. It's because they're a fan of Barack Obama. All right. Again, I'm going too far at this point, political talk, but that'll be the end of this video. I would like to know your thoughts. Of course, feel free to comment, like, share this video, and subscribe if you're not subscribed as well. Until next time, until next video, I'm gonna try to be more consistent. Okay. Y'all take care though. Peace.